This video is about how to not care about what people think. So anytime anyone says anything to you or has an opinion, just don't take it into consideration. The end. Just kidding. That's not it, or the whole video. What I want to, describe in this video, or what the idea that I want to bring across is really to not care about, the superficial or little things that people will say. So how I will be, going about this is I'll be giving examples and maybe asking a few questions to you guys just so you can get an idea of the philosophy behind my reasoning for why to not care what people think. Before I actually get into that, I do want to say that it does sometimes matter what people think. For example, say you are in an interview and you're talking to your future boss or future employer, or maybe you could be interviewing for a school or anything like that. You do want to leave a good impression on that person that you're talking to. So that how you carry yourself, the things you say, even your appearance does matter in that regard. Also, friends or family, you absolutely want to leave a good impression on them as well. So you're at a family reunion, you don't want to act a fool and do all these terrible things, so then your family kind of disowns you in that regard. So you do want to have a certain regard for how you carry yourself. Also, if you're if you're some type of public figure, or you have an influence on maybe youth in community group, or your teacher in that regard, you do want to be a good leader. You do want to lead by example and be someone that someone else can look up to in that regard. So in those cases, you absolutely should care what people think. But when I say that you should not care what people think, it's more about superficial things. Things that really, at the end of the day, don't really matter or carry a lot of weight. I know that when I was in high school, I used to always, take into consideration other people's opinions and kind of, contour my behaviors based on what I thought other people would like, how I dressed, the sports I played, how I acted, the people I talked to. But actually, not really the people I talked to, but a lot of different things. I would kind of contour that to how I thought people might see me, because I want to be this cool guy that everyone was oh yeah, Kofi, he's a really chill guy in that regard. So, but as I started to grow up, I realized at the end of the day, my opinion of myself is the only one that really matters in regards to the things that I'm doing, as long as it's not harmful in that regard. So I remember this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I just started learning mechanics. One of my friends actually said oh, haha, you're gonna be a repairman. And how I perceived that was a little offensive at the time. I don't know if they meant it that way, but that's kind of how I perceived it. And despite that, I was I'm going to take that comment and I'm going to use it to become an amazing mechanic. And I'm not going to say necessarily an amazing mechanic, but I learned how to build my first bike, and now I'm building my first motorcycle, and now I work on my car, and all those things because I continued to practice mechanics. So it was something that I want to do. If I had listened to them at that moment and just stopped everything, I would have never gotten to this point. I would have never known the things I could have created by now. So in that regard, sometimes, or a lot of times, people can impose their opinions on you, but knowing that their opinions are subjective, not objective, is very important. They're just opinions. Someone tells you, oh, don't hang out with those group of kids because they're chess players and they're nerds. Who cares? Who really cares? Chess is actually pretty cool. I play a lot of chess. It makes you smarter. And the thing is that a lot of those opinions are based on experiences that are biased. So in that regard, you want to, live your own life, not live someone else's life. A lot of times people can also, impose what they think you should do in certain situations. In that regard, you should always take someone who is more experienced, their opinion of something into consideration. But at the end of the day, you have to make your own choices. I know that for me, if I take someone else's opinion into consideration, I can go back and be like, oh, well, I made a mistake because that person told me to do that. And like, yeah, that's why that ended up turning out very well for me. Well, I'm not gonna really learn from that mistake if I'm always, blaming others in that regard. So I guess have kind of formed the idea that I want to make my own decisions on everything and really, take into consideration other people's opinions, but at the same time, form my own ideal of what I want and, act on that, because then if I do make a mistake, I can be like, all right, this was not the correct thing to do in that situation. I'm going to try out something different. And if someone imposes a certain ideal on you and like they're absolutely certain you should do it and they're like, yeah, don't do that, you absolutely should not listen to them, because like, no one really knows what you should do. And that's how I view my philosophy. I don't necessarily think that you guys should follow what I'm saying, because I'm very biased. I'm biased based on my experiences. But, take my maybe opinion into consideration. If you don't like it, throw it out. If you do think it could have some validity in your life, try it out, see if you like it, see if it's the way you'd want to live. And if not, go and find someone else who has another opinion on life. Like, that's how kind of philosophy works, and that's why I really like it. So, in that regard, you really want to try. And, like, really, I guess, not listening to other people will make you more confident, because you know that you will be making your own decisions. And it's something that is necessary to do. Say that you go about buying a car or a house in the future. You're making some big decision about who to be in a relationship with. You want to have confidence in your just ability to make those decisions, because they're very important. You don't want to always take into consideration someone else's opinion. I know that I've done that with relationships in my past, and I've always, regretted it, because I would act based on how other people felt and not how I truly felt. So it's really good to live your life in the way that you want to live it. And another thing that kind of helped for me, because sometimes people can be a little cruel in regards to how or their opinions of you or such, is that, and it's going to happen throughout life. You're never going to get to a point where you can like just not have anybody's opinion of you, or be in a situation where no one, like, you can avoid all people and what they think and such. Like, you don't want to isolate yourself. That's not good at all. But what did help me was that I kind of grew, or I had the realization that I can't control the actions of others. I can only control how I react to them. So given that, people can act any certain way towards me, but I can only control how I react to them. And if I, react to them in a positive way, hopefully that can influence them to not react to me in that way. Or, if I can, I will just find some way to, avoid interactions with them if it's someone that, is just constantly kind of negative towards you in that regard. But the whole message that I really want to bring across is that you want to live your life without, always just thinking about what other people think, because if you do, you're not going to live your best life. You're going to be constantly just concerned and various other things and anxious about what other people think. It's so important that, you follow your own path, because everyone has their own path to follow. And if you follow that path, you will find happiness and you will find value and all those other, great things that, you'll find in life by just doing what you truly believe to be right. So I hope you guys can take a lot of these, a lot of my experiences and my philosophy behind this and apply it to your own life, and, hopefully find some improvement if you can. And if not, it's all right. There are other philosophers out there with different opinions. You definitely watch them and take what they have to say into consideration. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. See you guys later.